can't unremember something that was in your body. I'm no longer living in an idea of spirit. I was always attracted to there's got to be more than this, and I didn't know what that more was. I'm living in a relationship with spirit. In ceremony, our lives are changed forever. And medicine of the plants is doing is taking me back to the fullness of who I am. The real medicine is the relationship with spirit. Here's the medicine in a circle, drink, experience. I went on that journey of trying to, of self-discovery, of trying to figure out who I am.
I know you have a lot of experience through different methods and spiritual practices and disciplines, not only here in different spots around the world. So I would like to know, and also considering recently your experience through the shamanism and your age, of course, and your situation as also a father and also a man of responsibilities and a member of the society, an important member of our family. I would like to know what means spirit for you.
I really like first to premise that in Taoism they say the Tao or the spirit that can be spoken about is not the eternal Tao. And so I think if to start with, to say any words that I could put around the meaning of spirit are mere shadows and smoke of the actual fire of the spirit. But to me, ever since I was young, I always, and I think many of us have had that calling, that feeling of there's got to be more than, this, and seeing my family struggle and, the constant worries in the world that they went through. I was always attracted to there's got to be more than this, and I didn't know what that more was. So I, from a young age, I went on that journey of trying to, of self-discovery, of trying to figure out who I am. You mentioned different practices. For a long time for me, it was meditation and yoga, which is very popular. These days I've become a yoga teacher and got really into meditation, and I was going down that path. But it wasn't until I found shamanism, and particularly the medicine of the Amazon, that I actually got to deeply experience spirit. And so to answer your question, for me, spirit is it's as if it's the eternal architecture that is underlying all of reality. It's as if it's the essential framework that the five senses, the material world, are built upon. It's as if the spirit is the material world, but it's also within the material experience. To me, it's the only reason for living for me is to be in communion with, in relationship with, in joy with the spirit. And because it is the eternal framework underneath, within, it's as if it's the structure. It gives my life the structure of true life, of joy, of abundance, of all of the blessings. And so for me, rather than having to chase, as I said, with my family, seeing their struggle in life and seeing, and I see it around us today, like the pain of people financially, it's getting harder to live, and the poison in the food and the poison in the airwaves and these external drivers that we're told is going to make me happy when I've got a big house and enough money and a nice car and and all these things that I should have. It's empty without that essence within, without that spirit within. And so to me, spirit is the reason for living. Spirit to me is why I exist at all. It is of who I am and why I am here. And then on top of that, the abundance, and we can talk about how shamanism has absolutely brought so much more abundance in my life with, my wife now, son, business, finances, all of the things I'm able to experience. And it's the external has come because of my focus on being in relationship with spirit. So yeah, to me, it's everything, and it's why I'm alive.
In ceremonies, during the ceremonies, you have approached to the spirit. You have leave the contact with the spirit much more clear.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you share with me how have you lived it?
This is the key to me for why shamanism has changed my life so much and why it's spreading across the world. Like anywhere you go now in spiritual circles, people are talking about ayahuasca, shamanism, the Amazon. People are wanting to go there more and more. And it's because of the experience. There's no dogma. There's no, I have to have a set of beliefs, or the real slow method of lots of meditation. And in meditation, there was glimpses of peace, but there was never this deep connection with spirit. And that's what the ceremonies, that's what they have given me. I'm no longer living in an idea of spirit. I'm living in a relationship with spirit. And this is why the work that you're doing, and again, why ayahuasca, why the shamanism is becoming so popular, is you cannot deny any practitioner who lives that experience in ceremony. Our lives are changed forever, because you can't unremember something that was in your body. It's not in your mind. People talk about ayahuasca, you go on this vision, and the vision is like minuscule compared to the actual embodied experience of feeling the embrace. It's as if like I'm dissolving from this consciousness, and I'm evolving into that consciousness of great spirit, of that eternal essence. It's life-changing. It's absolutely life-changing. Like, there's nothing else that compares. And I've said this to you before, for me, like, it's as if when you taste something so amazing, and anything else you eat is like, oh man, it's never as good as that. And all you have is this desire to have that taste again. And that's why I keep coming back. Like every 2-3 months, I'm here, and now Ecuador, going to the jungle. It's like once I've had that taste, and I know that's why, again, it's becoming so popular around the world. Yeah, I guess you just have to have it all the time. It's like a drug addict, but it's the opposite of a drug addict, in that they're escaping who they are through drugs. And the real medicine, because drugs are a medicine, the real medicine is the relationship with spirit. And what the medicine of the jungle, the Amazonian medicine of the plants is doing, is taking me back to the fullness of who I am. And but one thing I will say to this is, I've been with, and it's probably a question you got, but I've sat with 7 different shamans around the world over the last 9 years. Someone said it to me a couple of days ago in ceremony. It's like, and they had sat with someone in Peru where I started. It's like, that was, those teachers were like kindergarten teachers. Those experiences were like, running around playing with blocks. And then with you and with the Shuar and what you bring, that real centered presence, this is like an institute, and then you go to Ecuador, that's like a PhD, in shamanism. It's another level. And, I'm not blowing smoke up anyone's bum here. I'm saying the truth. What you have experienced with the Shuar over the last 23 years, a tradition that is untouched by any other culture. Like the Spaniards, even in the Amazon, never got to touch the Shuar. That tradition is so deep and so pure that this is my life now. It's I'd never had a following. I never wanted to be a follower. I'm not a follower today. And that's the beautiful thing about what you bring. It's, here's a path, Scotty, and you're like a guide saying, okay, if you look to the right, you'll see spirit in this manifest. And if you look to the left, that's a bit of shadow from your past. And I'm like, cool, thank you, guide. Now I can be more of myself in relationship on this path. And yeah, it's the best thing ever that's ever happened to me in my entire life.
Scotty, you say something that I always have had present in my memories and in my life. I remember when I was a child, or when I was much younger, just a little guy. I remember that I was also practicing meditation. I was practicing, and I recognize myself in your words when you say, "Yeah, meditation. Yeah, you go through glimpses of peace, of inspiration, of light, of understanding." Indeed, I would say, and I remember these glimpses. When you're lost, when you are somehow in the ignorance, in the darkness, and you have a little glimpse of light, a little thread of light, and you say, and you feel the sacredness, and you say, oh yeah. And only with this little tickle, you say, I will move on. And you find your force of will to move on, right? And then afterwards, with the age, we found the shamanism, the Rutan concept, the embrace of the anagon, the natem, and this little tickle that we met. Sometimes suddenly it becomes a current, an immense current of grace and holiness. And you say, hey, come on. I remember what I said. I have been all my life looking for this.
Yes.
I was 20 years old. I said, this is what I read this in many books. Even I thought this was only for some choose people.
Master.
Yeah. The children of God, or the son of God, but not for all the beings. But what is the meaning of not for all the beings? Where we come from? We're coming from the same father, the same mother, the same prime creator, right? So who say that we are not worthy?
And unfortunately, a lot of the religions, the main religions do. It's like you're saying, it's for the guru or it's for Jesus. It's not for every normal person. But that's what the beauty of the Shuar tradition is. The Shuar, obviously, the lineage in the Amazon. Every member, being there in Ecuador and seeing it, and even being in this family, every member is in a circle. It's not a pyramid. It's not a hierarchy where the Pope and the bishops will tell you peasants down there the word of God. It's like, no. Here's the medicine in a circle, drink, experience, all equal. We're all in this together. There's no, the only barrier, the only gateway to the experience is the will that I have to be in relationship with spirit. That's it. It's an inner drive. There's no external barriers. There's no external gateways. And it's about me cleaning and purifying the darkness that I have come through my past. But it's complete meritocracy. Anybody can walk this path. And again, that's why it's becoming so popular, is I don't have anything standing in my way from the full experience of Great Spirit other than my own self-doubt. And that's mine. I'm responsible for that.